Let's bring in Ross Feingold. He's an Asia political risk analyst and joins us by Skype from Taipei. So, Ross, China has the most sophisticated online censorship system in the world, the Great Firewall, they call it. Google, Twitter, YouTube blocked long ago. How is it this one has slipped through the net until now?
Well, I think the key thing is what you said, that it slipped through the net till now. Now, Clubhouse became popular very rapidly to the point where I had Chinese friends sending me text messages asking me for help to get onto Clubhouse within the past few weeks. So it was a very sudden phenomenon, but just as quickly, the Chinese internet regulators, obviously, they've caught up with it and now have made efforts to block it. Look, Chinese internet users routinely jump over the firewall to access internet websites and social media around the world. It's not unusual that they would have tried something new that became popular. They heard about it, engaged in political conversation, and at the same time, it's not unusual that eventually the Chinese regulators put a stop to it.
Goes to show how much could be said by millions of people, tens of millions of people, if they were allowed to converse freely.
Yeah, look, again, that's what Chinese internet regulators struggle to keep up with. The technology and the capabilities and, frankly, the intelligence of internet users is always going to be several steps ahead of regulators, whether in the West or in China. So when it gets onto the agenda of the Chinese authorities, it always comes after it was popular with netizens, and this is just another example of that. But it also shows, once again, that the tolerance level for this kind of conversation within China is very limited, and it can only take place within the confines that authorities in China are comfortable with.
Why is that tolerance level so low? What is the Chinese government so concerned about this freedom of speech?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I think the answer is the way that the spokesperson from the Chinese government described it, that they're concerned about external forces. They have their views on these issues, whether it's Hong Kong, Taiwan, Xinjiang, relations with the United States. And there's only one narrative, and that's the official narrative. And conversation needs to take place within the spaces of that narrative. And frankly, there's just no room for debate. And debate could be very risky. And we'll see in the coming days and weeks if users in China continue to try to access Clubhouse, and whether or not users eventually get prosecuted for doing so.
And what about the Chinese media? How have they reported on this story?
That's very interesting, because they've tried to portray it as, yeah, we know people in China were using it, so they're not denying that. But they say, or they'll interview netizens in China who say, oh, I tried Clubhouse, but it was so one-sided, it was so anti-China, it didn't present the facts accurately. So when they purport to interview internet users, the reaction that the state media in China will give very, very much tracks what the official spokespersons will say.
All right, Ross Feingold, thanks very much for that. Thank you.